ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to World of Tanks with Feeling 237. And today I'm going to do a tank review on one of the tier 6 Polish medium tanks. It is the B.U.G.I. I'm sure there's probably a different name for it, but we all call it the B.U.G.I, so it's been called the B.U.G.I. General opinion of the tank is it's very good at tier 6. There are some things that are a bit annoying about it, but overall I think it's a decent tier 6 tank, probably one of the best mediums actually at tier 6. And there are two different ways of playing it, which is always nice. We're going to be comparing it with its second gun. It has a choice between a 90mm or a 100mm. We're also going to be comparing it with the other Polish medium tank in the tech tree, the 40TP. We're going to be comparing it with the Italian P43 BIS and the Russian T-3485, as I feel like those tanks are closely linked to how you would play the B.U.G.I. Like, we're not going to be comparing it to a Cromwell, for example, or a Stritzwagen 74, because they're completely different play styles. So as you can see right off the bat, the B.U.G.I. actually has quite poor DPM. With the 90mm, should probably specify that this here, the base tank, is with the 90mm, which is how I prefer to play it, or at least how I did play it when I went through the tank. This one here is using the 100mm, so you can see that 100mm has considerably better DPM. It's best in class DPM, although that is with high explosive rounds. If we put on the armor piercing rounds for the 100mm, you can see it's got more penetration than the 90mm, more damage, more DPM. Basically everything's better with that 100mm, but those are premium shells, the armor piercing, so they do cost a lot more. So yeah, DPM of the 90mm is worse, but it's not overall bad. It's about half and half. It's better than its Polish counterpart, the 40TP, but not as good as the T-3485 or the P43. Penetration is quite good at tier 6, 156mm or 168 if you would like to fire premium with the 100mm. The 100mm only gets 2 shells, high explosive and premium armor piercing. Nothing else really changes for that, no clip. Shell velocity is quite good at 950 meters a second. The 100mm has slightly worse shell velocity, but it's not a major difference. Aiming time is pretty shocking at 2.5 seconds, and this is interesting to note that the anti-tank 90mm is probably correct to assume that, well, probably the right thing to call it, compared to the howitzer 100mm. They have the same aim time of 2.49 seconds, which is pretty shocking. It's not as bad as the 40TP at 2.59, but if you look at the Italian and the Russians, they've got quite low aiming time, and the T-34 has considerably better accuracy. The B.U.G.I. doesn't have bad accuracy with the anti-tank gun at 0.38. It's same across the board except for when it's using the howitzer, it's 0.48, but the T-34 has 0.35. Dispersion. When moving the tank turret tracks, it's okay. Could be better, it could be worse. So a way you could play is maybe with vertical stabilizers or improved rotation mechanism, but that depends on the play style. 8 degrees of gun depression. This is all the way around the tank, it doesn't change, which is very nice. That also sticks with the 100mm gun. It's only 1 degree better than the T-34, but it does make quite a considerable difference. Engine performance is quite good actually. The power 700, speed as well, very good, 55. And it's interesting to note as well that once you go up in terms of gun caliber, all of the mobility stays exactly the same. So you don't have to worry about the tank being slower with a bigger gun or anything like that. However, though its train resistances are good, I keep on having to remember this. Tanks GG assumes that the lower number is better. but for terrain resistance is the higher numbers better, I think. I should probably look that up. Anyway, turret traverse, it's very slow. In a way, it's sort of like a cross between a heavy tank with no armor and a medium tank with a little bit of armor. You'll see in the replay, it's very cumbersome. It's a very long tank too. It just sort of feels like a barge, really, when you're trying to turn and aim. So you have to watch out for that. A turbo is recommended on this tank. Not even for a speed benefit, just for an engine power benefit. Armor wise, in terms of relative thickness, it's not as thick as the 40 TP, which has a quite remarkable 90mm of frontal hull armor. Turret armor's not great either. I mean, it's better than the P43 and the T34. But the thing about this tank is it's very well angled. It's an odd shape. It's like, imagine a baguette with like a singular meatball on top of it. That's sort of what this tank looks like. You'll see what I mean when we have a look at the tank's armor profile. View range 360 meters. That's the same across the board. It's pretty standard for tier 6. Shell cost 290. Now this is important because the shells on the B.U.G.I to at least make the howitzer work are 4,000 credits. So if you're a pay-to-win player and you can spam premium ammunition as much as you want to, then by all means use the howitzer. It has more penetration, it does more damage, it has more DPM. But if you're free to play or you don't want to be spamming premium all the time, the 90mm is the gun, and I prefer the 90mm. I don't know, I just, playing through the Polish tanks, it's, their guns are, they're not like the Russian guns of similar caliber. They feel like heavy tank guns, poor accuracy, poor aiming time, but they hit quite hard. And they've got very good penetration. It just feels like they do good damage over time, so I prefer the 90mm. And theoretically the 90mm is going to hit more shots. It's going to be more accurate trying to hit weak points. So I feel like that's the best gun. On the tank to use, its camo rating is abysmal. So watch out for that if you're trying to use bushes. In terms of the 3D model here, if you look, we can see red is thickest, green is weakest. It's got, say, okay armor. I mean, if you look at it there, it's what, about 100mm of armor, going up to about 110. Hull 90. You want to be shooting it here. You don't want to be shooting across this mid plate, slightly thicker. That doesn't give a good representation. If we go onto the live model here, it's all very green. It can penetrate itself quite easily, but here, if you catch it wrong, that's an automatic ricochet because of the angle. And if it's using its gun depression, like that, it's got quite a small turret, so you've got a good chance of bouncing off the front. If we look at the actual tank in a live model, if we look at its side, it can side scrape relatively effectively. Now this armor you're not going to be able to rely on, it's not going to save you all the time. But these are automatic ricochets all along here, so if it is side scraping, which it can do, shoot it in the front, shoot in the turret, it's your best bet. And if we look at the visual model of it, you'll see what I mean. It's a very odd looking tank. It sort of looks like the AMX-40, the French tier 4 light tank in inverted commas. It's an odd looking thing. But again, it looks undeceiving. It's quite a powerful tank. And you can see what I mean. Like, there's such aggressive angling all around the hull. It's quite good actually for bouncing shots. Anyway, why don't we head into the one and only game that I've had in the B.U.G.I that was worthwhile showing, which will be on the Pilsen map. So here we are loading up for the game on Pilsen. Just going to turn the volume down a bit here so you can hear me a bit better. I think I should give a general overview of the Polish line, or what I think to it. See, it's a tier 7 game at the moment, only 3 tier 7s, so it should be relatively okay. We're going to take the B.U.G.I to the 0 line, over to our left there and play along that area. What do I think of the Polish tanks? I think they're good. I guess I could I guess I have a slightly distorted view because at the moment, as the CLC drives into us, I'm having a somewhat distorted view of the actual tanks, because at the moment it's December and the Wargaming Christmas specials are coming out. You can grind tanks so quickly. I've managed, in a week, I've gone from the tier 4 tank to the tier 9 at the moment, so Misha's shot on the Skoda T25 there. And the reason that is because it's not only the multipliers that you get given every day, I'm not talking about the ×2s here. It's being in a clan, having boosters, having ×3 or ×5 experience from completing the Chuck Norris missions. You can grind out tanks so quickly. And I just thought I should bring this up because not many people realise you look at world tanks and you think it's an absolute nightmare to grind some of the tanks. And I totally understand that. But then again, as we're looking for a shot on this Skoda as he comes up, I feel like Christmas is the best time to grind a tank. If you're in a clan and you need something for Clan Wars, which is exactly the reason why I'm grinding the Polish tanks, I want to get to the CS63 in time for the January campaign. The best time to do it is Christmas. Like I said, it's I haven't been playing particularly on these tanks. You know, I get to the tier 8 and I haven't even averaged 2,000 damage a game. I don't even think I've averaged 1,800 damage a game. But I've played 25 games in that tier 8 tank, maybe 7 or 8 in skirmishes, which also get you experience. And I've already got the tier 9. The amount you can grind over the holidays, over that month period, is insane. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I really want to get this tank, I really want to get that tank, do it over Christmas. Do it when there's specials on. You know, if you don't want to grind loads of stuff or spend like loads of time grinding it, then do it now. You know, granted, I have been lucky, you know, being in the clan, having boosters, having loads of crew members available. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm running with like a 4 skilled crew because I had a bunch sitting in my barracks doing nothing. But I honestly don't think this tank's all too bad to play stock. You know, even with a poor crew, you know, as long as you just spend getting brothers in arms or stuff along those lines, it's a good tank to play. It's got good view range at the moment, but not up to the max. I think this is another issue we're having here. I've completely lost my train of thought of what I was talking about. Yes, view range. Wow, God. My commentary is for farming this Valiant here. View range used to be the precedent. It used to be like this thing that you always went for. You always ran a gun rammer on every single tank, apart from some light tanks. And then you always ran optics or binoculars. As well for everything, a shot of this Valiant, but unfortunately we don't manage to connect the shot. But since Equipment 2.0 came in a few months ago, I feel like the turbocharger has become this holy grail of an equipment, or like a bit of equipment, because it has revolutionised a lot of tanks, especially slow tanks, and even on fast tanks. You know, you're getting an extra 5 constant out top speed and an extra, I think, 100 odd brake horsepower. It's a lot and it really adds up. And you'll see this in Clan Wars for main clan setups. If you watch the Urban Jungle tournament, they were running turbochargers, they were running a gun rammer and the hit point booster. I can't remember what it's called. It's like hardening, I think. So something along those lines. But they were running that. And they're boosting the hit points, boosting the speed, and that's the meta now. View range is so overrated now, I feel, especially with the introduction of EBRs. You know, you've got to get EBR play. You don't need your heavy tanks to have view range. You want to boost up that DPM, you want to boost up that speed. And that's what you've got to do, not just for the Polish tanks, because I think at the moment I'm running turbocharger, gun rammer, and maybe fence or vert stabs. I might be running optics. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I'm running optics. But yeah, I think at this point, view range is overrated. Mobility is the name of the game, really. Anyway, I've rambled on quite a lot about this. I mean, obviously it depends on your playstyle, what you want to do. But I feel like mobility and damage potential is key. So, back to the game. We've currently picked up 1800 damage just farming tanks that our team have spotted. You'll see the gun performance there. It's very good at long range, whittling down the enemies. But we are currently losing 710. And I didn't want to go down the zero line. I realised that this tank is probably not the best for going down zero line. Its camouflage is quite poor. And there's a lot of tanks camping at the back. So I assumed that the Crusader could pick up the kill on that KV-1S, but unfortunately he was unable to. So I decided to secure our artillery and go after this Leopard. We shut him down and pick up our second kill. And now I'm debating what to do. Do I carry on pushing this side with an unspotted T-150 and T-67? Or do I go back up to where I originally was? And I'm looking at that Tiger and the OI and the artillery that are currently making that Hellcat slide questionable, and then the T-67 makes an appearance. I think I've got to save my artillery. And you know, the Tiger and the OI should be able to hold that position. The Tier 5s can't really push him, even though the M10's trying his best. It's probably going to fail. So I decided, as the Leffe on our team, the French Tier 5 overpowered RT, basically nearly one-shots that T-67. I don't even know why I came back. There's really no point trying to save the artillery. I mean, look, they can defend themselves because that thing's overpowered. But the artillery do that. But there's still a KV-1S out there. We're currently up 11-10 now. The Tiger and the OI are holding their own. We've still got all our hit points left. But they have a very good 25 TP player. And they've still got a full health tier 6 heavy, the T-150. We've got to assume he's on full health because he hasn't been spotted the entire game. This still have an RT piece and this still have a KV-1S. I said the KV-1S is a one-shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go after that KV-1S. And now I'm thinking he's going to be up here. So he is up there. He's not aiming the right way. We try and clutch a shot before he falls back, but unfortunately he dips behind the ridge. While our shot clips into the ground, he pulls behind the ridge. Our Tiger was looking for a shot there on the minimap, but unfortunately he doesn't have the angle. He can't really expose himself all too much, otherwise he'll get killed by either the artillery or the 25 TP. So I decided to use the mobility of this tank, use the turbocharger to my advantage and get around the side down the zero line. At this point I can start taking the zero line. I feel like I've got enough health to do it. I'm loading premium to make sure my shell goes into the KV-1S. The premium on this tank is actually very good. It has 198mm of penetration. This is a theme. The Polish have exceptionally good premium shells for each of their tiers compared to other things. As you can see, our artillery saying that he's tracking me. At the moment the KV-1S appears. I'm trying to feather a shot on him, but I decide to leave the KV-1S actually to the artillery. As you can see, the AMX-13 F3 tracking me, able to kill that KV-1S quickly. And the 25 TP is currently shooting, so he puts a shot in, but it bounces off our well-angled armour. He puts another shell in, he's firing APCR here. And the second round goes in. If we have a look, where he hit his, right in the turret, there, as you can see, that's where the first shell went in. Don't know where the ricochet was, I'm assuming on the side of the hull somewhere. But we know where he is. I don't know where the T-150 is, and the T-150 at the moment is the biggest concern for me. Because that 25 TP has good penetration on its premium rounds, so it can easily deal with the Tiger and the OI. And the T-150 is on full health, they still have an artillery piece, so I'm aiming here. I decided to blind fire, just in case he's there, but actually the 25 TP's moved, and the 25 TP is a one shot, which gave me a lot of relief and a lot more confidence to take out this game. The Tiger and OI are sort of dancing around a bit here. They're probably a bit worried about what's going to occur to them once the 25 TP managed to get some shots. Maybe the artillery can pick them up, maybe the T-150 can. For all we know, the T-150 could be using the HE gun, and that's it's going to be interesting, especially with two tanks. The Tiger on 9 health and the OI on 12 health. The T-150 could load HE with its 107mm gun and kill them both in a shot. The OI giving us good information there, telling us the T-150 is in K1, which after scouting this side of the map leaves him as the only place he can be, alongside the artillery and what I'm assuming would be the 25 TP. The 25 TP is actually probably making his way towards our artillery, which is what I would do in this situation. We've got a full health T-115 base that can defend the cap circle, and you might as well go and take the RNG out of the game. The ELC there telling me to go to the cap circle. I'm well ahead of him. I can see in this cap circle use the pile of rubble in front of me and basically make them out. Artillery can splash him here, but he can't directly hit me. And the T-150 has to come out, and we've created a relatively decent crossfire. I go to cap circle and I hide it, and then I see the 25 TP appear. Now I know the 25 TP is going to spend about 20 to 30 seconds killing our artillery as he picks up the kill on the Lafer. I don't know how you say that name. So I decided at this point, we've got to go. I've got to find that T-150, because that T-150 can change this game and it can bring them back in that favour. The T-150, all he has to do, stay up there, spot, use the artillery to kill the two tanks. See, OI and Tigers hold them back. I'm going to go do the spotting. So the 25 TPs make his way towards our artillery. He's distracted, our artillery is distracted. I find the M44, I shoot the M44. T-150's appeared. T-150's on 1000 health. He's using the improved hardening equipment, so the Tiger picks up the kill on the artillery. RNG's out of the game for us, and now the T-150 gets smacked for 750 by an armor piercing round from the OI. The 25 TP on the enemy team picks up the kill on our friendly artillery, but we pick up the kill on the T-150. Fantastic result there to get that tier 6 heavy tank out of the game. Could have asked for better teamwork from that Tiger, from the OI there. The AMX ELC on our team is wanting me for president. Probably would make a better job of it than Trump. Not that that's a potentially, not that that's like a high bar, really. That's all. Having been Prime Minister of the UK, that would also be a pretty low bar to be better than Boris. Anyway, the ELC here, the Tigers wants to go off. He wants that Top Gun, and he's being very greedy. Thankfully, the OI is smart, and he's listening to the ELC, and he's listening, or he's like following what I'm doing. We're going to the cap circle. There's 2 minutes of this game left. If we didn't get in the cap, that 25 TP is either going to kill us all or end in a draw. He probably doesn't have time to kill us all, but so the best he will do is hope for a draw. So what I'm going to do now is I tell the OI to sit in front of me. The OI doesn't have all the capture points. He gets in the cap circle here. So I've got 40 cap points, and that will go up to maybe about 70 by the end of the game. So the OI actually listens. This is fantastic team play to see, especially in random games. And he's come to sit in front of me. The 25 TP I don't think can get back in time. As you can see, he's over there by the coalfields. But the OI planks himself right in front of me. This is perfect. This means that if the 25 TP was any closer, he would have to come from only one angle. And he's not actually going to get back in time, so it's all pointless. And we managed to pick up the game. We captured the enemy base, 2,400 damage, 1,000 spotting. Not the best game you could ever have in a B.U.G.I in a tier 7 game, but I felt like I should show this because a lot of people will see War of the Tanks is quite a toxic community, and myself can be quite toxic at times with people, but when this game happened, I thought it was absolutely incredible seeing a random person listening and coming to help me. This is the perfect situation you want to be in. That 25 TP either has to come from over here, where the OI is sort of looking, but then he has to get really lucky with his shot. The OI is looking this way, so he'll kill him, and I'm looking up there. The OI could have done a little bit better job of covering my entire tank, but there's not very much room. But no, it was amazing. It's amazing to see the OI did that. So congratulations to Casper for being one of those few people that is a team player. And even though it didn't win or lose as the game, that play, it's still amazing to see. So anyway, let's check out how we did in the post-game stats. So overall, a pretty decent game. We get a first class medal, we get high caliber, we get 1100 base experience. The Tiger and the OI there winning us the game. So too with that Lefeur actually managing to hold his own against the T67. That T67 on that rear could have been a major problem. Commiserations to T25 TP. He did a really good game in a bottom tier medium tank, showing that a good player can do exceedingly well and can carry games. Unfortunately, we just had better cohesion and better teamwork on this side, which led to the victory. Tiger picking up a bunch of medals here, so too with the OI, both surviving hits whilst being on very low health. And we get a nice bit of base experience as well, which is good to see. And as you can see, even without a premium account, ignoring this here, also the ammunition resupply, if I did 5 premium, I think I would have still made a profit of only 5,000. But this tank is very profitable as a non-premium tank. And as you can see, to reiterate my point about the boosters, or at least the Christmas boosters, look here. For completing missions, we get a payout of an extra 6,860 experience. And that puts our total to 8,500 experience for this game. And that's like a third, or like a quarter to a third of the way there to the next tank, the CS44 at tier 7. So that just re-emphasises the point really about how important it is to grind tanks over the Christmas period. If you can make the money whilst doing it, or you've got a lot of money spare and you want to grind that EBI, you want to grind that 277. God forbid you want to grind the M440, the M454, the tier 10 French heavy tank. Go and do that. I really wouldn't recommend it, but each to their own. Yeah, Christmas, fantastic time of year, especially for grinding tanks. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave a like and subscribe if you did, and stay tuned for a couple more World of Tanks videos and some more F1 videos coming soon.